Through you, I can do anything. I can do all things. 'Cause it's you who gives me strength. Nothing is impossible. Through you, blind eyes are open. Strongholds are broken. I am living by faith. Nothing is impossible.
Who is the king of the jungle? Who is the king of the sea? Baba, baba, baba. Who is the king of the universe? And who's the king of me? I'll tell ya, Jesus. Yes, he is the king of me. He is the king of the universe, the jungle and the sea. Baba, baba, baba. Who is the king of the jungle? Who is the king of the sea? Baba, baba, baba. Who is the king of the universe? And who's the king of me? I'll tell ya, Jesus. Yes, he is the king of me. He is the king of the universe, the jungle and the sea. Baba, baba, baba. Who is the king of the jungle? Who is the king of the sea? Baba, baba, baba. Who is the king of the universe? And who's the king of me? I'll tell ya, Jesus. Yes, he is the king of me. He is the king of the universe, the jungle and the sea. Baba, baba, baba. He is the king of the universe, the jungle and the sea. Baba, baba, baba.
Hi Kids Church, it's Jasmine here. I've missed you all so much, but today I'm going to be showing you how to make some racing caterpillars. Hi guys, okay, so to make our racing caterpillars we're going to need 2 pieces of different coloured paper, and then these 2 pieces of paper were roughly about, this way, 15 centimetres long, that way. 2 straws, they don't have to be metal. A pen or a texter, and some scissors. So, what we're going to do is, we are going to measure the piece of paper downwards, this way, and cut. Once you've cut out your 2 pieces of paper, we're now going to fold them so they can turn into the caterpillars. It's the fun part where we get to do the faces on our caterpillar. I am going to do a silly face on this one. It's going to have its tongue poking out. I'm going to name this one Gary. And now we're ready to race. You want to find a friend to race with you? I've got my dad next to me, and let's go.
Hey kids, I thought I'd do an illusion for you. And now illusions are all about tricking you into thinking something miraculous has happened. Anyway, here is a ball. I put that ball in my hand and voila, it's gone. How amazing is that? I wonder where it has gone. Now, what I want you to do is not look at this magic wand. Whatever you do, don't look at this magic wand. How'd you go? Well, I would assume that you just looked at it. It seems to be human nature that when we say not to do something, not to focus on something, that's exactly what we focus on. And did you know that what you focus on is really important for keeping your integrity? Because our emotions can challenge our integrity. And there's going to be a Bible story coming up later about Paul, who went through lots of trials and how they had potential to challenge his integrity by the way he responded. But he chose to focus on Jesus when things didn't go the way he had hoped. And I know when things are going well, I can keep my integrity really easily. I don't get upset at people. I don't hurt people's feelings. But if someone hurts my feelings and I feel angry inside, it's then that I have a choice about what to focus on. I can either focus on that emotion and just dwell on it and get angry and then say things I wish I hadn't. Or I can turn my focus to Jesus, ask for his help, calm myself down, take a few deep breaths, and wait until the emotion has subsided, and then respond with integrity. And I know, kids, that you would have similar circumstances where you're having a good day, but then someone hurts your feelings, and you have a choice about how to respond. And my encouragement is focus on Jesus, take a deep breath, separate yourself from what has happened, and then later respond. Because when we respond in the height of our emotions, often we don't keep our integrity. So let's pretend that this magic wand is Jesus. When your feelings get hurt, when your emotions are high, fix your eyes on Jesus. Separate yourself, calm down, and then respond with integrity. So have a go at that this week and enjoy the Bible story coming up.
See this glass? Would you say it's half empty? Or would you say it's half full? I wonder what you think. And I wonder whether your mum and dad would think the same thing as you. I guess there isn't really a right or wrong answer, is there? There's just a choice. Are you going to choose to think of this glass as half empty? Or will you choose to think of it as half full? I guess it all depends on what you choose to think, right? You know, Paul said something similar to the early church. In the book of Phillipians, we read a letter that he's written where he says, "My brothers and sisters, always think about what is true. Think about what is noble, right, and pure. Think about what is lovely and worthy of respect. If anything is praiseworthy or excellent, then think about it." See, Paul wanted the early church to understand that what they chose to think mattered, because what we think can completely change the way we see something. See, this whole month we've been learning about integrity. But integrity is more than just our words and our actions, it's our thoughts too. Integrity is choosing to focus on God's truth. Let me give you another example. When something bad happens, what do you tend to think about? When your mum's asked you to clean your room again, or your sister's gone and eaten the last chocolate biscuit, or your soccer team's lost their final match. What kind of thoughts go through your mind? You know, when bad things happen, we tend to focus on what's wrong, don't we? We think about what we've missed out on and what we don't have or what we've lost. We think about how unfair it is. We may get angry or frustrated or even sad. You know, having those feelings, they're not a bad thing. But Paul's letter reminds us that it doesn't have to be like that. We get to choose what we want to focus on. We get to choose what we want to think. Remember, integrity is choosing to focus on God's truth. You know, a couple of years ago, I had to make a similar choice. I remember studying really hard for this exam, an exam that was going to decide whether or not I got into medical school and became a doctor, something that I had always wanted to do. I remember spending weeks preparing for this exam, every spare minute. My friends also wanted to get into medical school, so we all decided to do the exam together. I remember the day of the exam, and I remember how hard it was. But I also remember how much fun my friends and I had, and how much they made me laugh. You know, a couple of weeks later, I got my results in the mail. My friends had passed. They were going to medical school. But I hadn't. I felt so disappointed. I knew then that I had a choice. I got to choose what I was going to focus on. I could focus on what I had lost, what I didn't have, and how unfair it was. Or I could choose to focus on God's truth and the good that He had done. I remember that same night I decided to pray. And as I was praying, I began to thank God for everything that He had done. I thanked Him for still loving me, even though I had failed my exam. I thanked Him for still having a plan for my life, even if mine wasn't working out. I even thanked Him for what He had done for my friends. That night I decided that I wasn't going to focus on all the bad things. I was going to focus on God's truth. See, focusing on God's truth, it didn't change the fact that I had failed my exam, but it did change the way I saw my situation. I began to feel this sense of peace that everything was going to be okay because God was still in control. And over time, I actually began to feel excited. I was excited about what God had next in store for me. And it was all because I chose to focus on His truth. See, Nitro Kids, every day we have to make a similar choice. Every day we have to decide what it is we're going to focus on. Will we think of our glass as half empty? Or will we think of it as half full? I know things can be tough sometimes. But Nitro Kids, I want you to remember the truth. We serve a God who loves us so much that He sent His only Son to die on the cross so that we could have a relationship with Him. A God who's promised to never leave us, and a God who's promised to work out everything for our good. So next time something bad happens, I wonder what you will choose to focus on.
Hello kids, I hope you're enjoying Kids Church Online so far. I'm missing you guys so much, but I'm also so excited to bring to you my favorite part of the program, which is, yeah, you guessed it, Memory Verse! This week's memory verse comes from Proverbs chapter 10, verses 9. It says, "Anyone who lives without blame walks safely, but anyone who takes a crooked path will get caught." Now, you're probably thinking, what does this mean? Talking about paths and walking safely? It doesn't really make sense. But this month, we're going to be learning about integrity. And integrity means to choose to be truthful no matter what happens. It's having honor, being better than what you expect of yourself. So this verse is talking about choosing a path of life, I guess you could say, that holds integrity and you'll be safe, versus choosing a crooked path, maybe something that lacks integrity, where you might harm others in your way. You will get caught. And that's what this verse is talking about. On that note, I think we should get into some actions, don't you? Alright, so I'm going to go through the actions on my own first to show you guys, and then we'll do it together. Let's start. Anyone who lives without blame walks safely, but anyone who takes a crooked path will get caught. That comes from Proverbs 10, verses 9. Now let's try it together. In 3, 2, 1. Anyone who lives without blame walks safely. Okay, now your turn. Anyone who lives without blame walks safely. Great job. Here's part 2. But anyone who takes a crooked path will get caught. Now your turn. But anyone who takes a crooked path will get caught. Great job! And do you remember where it comes from? That's right, Proverbs 10, verses 9. You guys are awesome. I know you did so well in that. Keep practicing during the week, because I would love to see you come back to Kids Church knowing all these amazing memory verses and actions that go along with them. Bye guys!